Alright, Danny, fine. I'll cover your game versus Team Linnet. Those poppin' people, we're back. And per request of Sir Daniel, I'm gonna go over this game versus Team Linnet that he played for in UPL. Now, there's Pokemon on the left. A fan favorite, some might even say, Charizard. And when you think about some of the meta trends that I brought up recently, one of which being, hey, fire and ice type's really good. Some of y'all might think about Charizard and go, wow, this Pokemon surely must be good, right? And, I mean, right now the consensus really is that it's kind of not too good at all. And viewed mostly as just a fringe belly drum sweeper that doesn't really do a ton else. And so why is that? Well, let's look at the competition, Pyroar. Charizard is slower, and the speed tier is relevant for, I would say, 3 total Pokemon, one of which is Paldean Tauros. Charizard has to speed tie with that, and that's kind of annoying, because it's always nicer when you can just outrun something. You can think back to when we talked about the 2 versions of Indeedee, where one of the benefits to male Indeedee was avoiding a speed tie with Toxicroak, so you never have to worry about whether or not you'll just randomly get outsped in one shot. And the other 2 Pokemon are Zoroark and Scyther, which Danny conveniently has on his team for us to look at. Of course, those are both 105 base speed, Pyroar is 106, and with those 2 Pokemon being at the very, very top of the metagame, it's very nice to have offensive Pokemon that are not threatened by these 2 revenge killers. But how are we going to see Danny maximize his Charizard? Well, as I look at his team, my guess would be that it is a Specs Zard. Because you've got the Zoroark. Now, the Zoroark actually ends up being physical. But I was thinking you could have a nice, cool, like, special wall breaker overload core. That could have been cool. But the main ticker that says that to me is the Hatchram. You very clearly are running itemless, or not itemless, but non-boots on, like, one of these 2 goblins between Scyther and Zard. And I think when we look at the meta trends, a special attacking Zard takes advantage of them a lot more effectively than, say, physical would. So, that's the mon that I would expect to run the set. And as we get to Linnet's team, I mean, first glance says this should be like Stealth Rock, Cloth, and Coil Conda, or maybe the converse, where it's set up Cloth with like Trailblaze SD and Stealth Rock Conda. Yeah, that isn't what happens at all. So let's get into it. We see Cloth lead versus Scyther, and naturally Daniel does not care. He U-turns on the Cloth immediately, brings in Sandaconda, and I'm pretty sure what this actually ends up being is a Salt Vest, which I'm gonna be honest, that might be the least intimidating Cloth set that I have been able to think up. Because Ladder really likes those Trailblaze sets, and admittedly, a couple times they've been kind of scary with Terra Grass. Ooh, a little bit demonic, but AV will not be very impactful in this kind of game. And we're going to see this Anaconda very quickly come and set rocks, only to have them defogged away immediately, but it's okay, it's not a big deal. The Scyther comes in. This is a very, very free U-turn. You're able to maintain your momentum, you're able to bring in the Charizard. But, psych, this isn't Charizard. He switches into Cloth because he does want to try and scout, and the Charizard U-turns. Not something you should see. I think we might need to check Danny's computer. Check, something's not right here. You know, check his computer. I think something's amiss. And we see the same line play where Lurantis will always just immediately switch into Sandaconda. This time we now see 2 switches into Brux and Eel, and a small just what evaporates the Electros with the Cyphex. Now, you're gonna see something a little interesting. Chat come up. 12.5, Danny says. T-Linnet, or 68. Naturally, Eel had, if it's Jolly Brux, 12.5% chance of getting KO'd. Adamant changed that to 68. Me personally, I would never say this. I would never. Because, you know what? I'm gonna say you're adamant now. Now, maybe that's part of the mind game. T-Linnet here could be just playing some absurd mind games and being like, oh, who knows? Maybe I'm jolly, maybe I'm adamant. But nah, I'm gonna call you out right then and there. Now we see Charizard go for Swords Dance as the Braviary comes in, and immediately outspeeds and knocks this. And I'm pretty sure the only reason T-Linnet stayed in here is he was expecting maybe this to actually be the Zard and to be Flame Charge. But as you can see, Zoroark's Illusion adding another layer to this game. Part of the reason people think it's so obscene this generation, as we've said before, is Illusion, and we see the synergy come in here. And then Danny just does not care about the cloth that comes in that actually ends up being Zoroark. He's able to stay in, tank a U-turn, and then 2-hit KO the incoming Conda with the knockoff. So Danny's made a lot of headway this game. Cloth comes back out. He gets Sucker Punched because it's not actually the Cloth, it's the Zoroark. So Zoroark goes down, but it put in a lot of work this game. It's now the actual Cloth comes in. And I mean, we're looking at this team. What's your counterplay to well-played Charizard? Kata comes in. He's gonna double. Actually just gets crab hammered for his troubles, but now he's in blaze range. So I mean, flamethrowers could be hitting everything, and yeah. So as we calced, no one was really too sure what the Cloth's set was. Everyone figured though at this point it was probably Assault Vest because you see both knockoff and crab hammer. There's gonna be a rock move, and then you probably run high horsepower last at that point, so that you're not the freest switch for Toxicroak. And people calced out like max HP even on Cloth. Yeah, that still's just one shot by Specs Focus Blast. So that's not too good of a counterplay. So Bruxish comes in. If this was actually Bruxish. No, this is the Zoroark. And it's able to effectively lure in Sandaconda, although there's not really anything else that wanted to switch into Brux anyway. I mean, you know. I say lure in the Conda. It was known this was the Zoroark because Brux hasn't been out yet, but Danny decides, you know what, don't need Conda left. It's just going to seed free turns to Lurantis to come in anyway, and I don't need that. So Scyther's able to very easily come in, revenge kill the Zoroark. Technically, this could have even been Scarf on Scyther, and that wasn't even a speed type, but it doesn't matter. We see it pick off the Rark. Bruxish now actually comes in. Wave Crash is going to be a 2-shot on the Hatchrim. Which also kind of goes to show, you know what, I actually want to calc this real quick. Because we can find out for ourselves. Was this banded or not? Hatrim. Jolly was that. Adamant was this. 55. That was probably Jolly Bruxish. Okay, it's probably Jolly. Unless he got a minimum, absolute minimum roll. We're probably looking at what was Jolly Bruxish there. So, alright. Anyhow, Zard comes in now. It's going to go for Terrifier. The Bruxish will not tank this. And you're going to see something very, very funny here, too. He tries his best. But the Lurantis is not enough to tank a Blaze Specs Flamethrower from Charizard. This game was very, very fun. I think we saw a lot of cool sets this game. We see, again, Physical Zoroark. This mod's versatility compared to last generations is a lot more profound. Because you look at the difference between Physical and Special. They're actually both good this gen. Last gen, mostly you saw, I would say, Special, maybe mixed even. But now, it's like you could see really any combination. You could see fully Physical, you could see mixed, you could be Special, you could be Scarf Physical, you could be Scarf Special. There's just a lot more at Zoroark's disposal as a result of, like, no fairy types and just lower overall power level. I think it's pretty cool to see. But I hope you all enjoyed this. Shout out to Danny for the game. Charizard's a monster. Allegedly it gets Roost and Defog back. I'll probably do a video covering the rumored changes that could be coming through Pokemon Home and talk about how they affect NU. But until then, I hope y'all are having a great time. Stay safe and I'll catch you next time. Peace.